శ్రీనివాస్ గారు సార్ పాలిటీ డీల్ చేస్తారు, అలాగే NYVRS చక్రవర్తి గారు హిస్టరీ డీల్ చేస్తారు జనరల్ స్టడీస్లో. అలాగే ఇది ఫ్రెండ్స్. సో అప్లోడ్ చేసేటప్పుడు
we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and the integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby enact, and to give to orders this Constitution.
నైతిక విలువలతో ఇక్కడ సామాన్య తరగతి నుంచి వచ్చిన వాళ్ళకు, మధ్యతరగతి కుటుంబాల నుంచి వచ్చిన వాళ్ళకు, పేదవాళ్ళకు అందరికీ అందుబాటులో ఉండడం కోసం మిగతా ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్లలో వ్యాపారమే ధ్యేయంగా, లాభాలమే ధ్యేయంగా సరే వాళ్ళకు కోచింగ్ ఇవ్వాలి, సివిల్స్ రావాలంటే లాభాలు వాళ్ళ కార్యక్రమం నడుస్తుంది. మన దగ్గర మినిమం కనీస వేతనాలు ఉపాధ్యాయులకు అందే విధంగా మీకు అతి తక్కువ ఖరీదులో సామాన్యులకు అందుబాటులో తీసుకోవడం కోసమే ఈ ప్రయత్నం చేస్తున్నాం. అందులో భాగంగా గత 3 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి కూడా మనకు కోచింగ్ నడుస్తున్నారు. ఇంకా ఈ వసతులు కూడా ఇక్కడ మనకు భవన వసతులు కానీ ఇవన్నీ వసతులు చాలా చక్కగా ఉన్నాయి. ఇంత మంచి ఫెసిలిటీస్ ఎక్కడ కూడా నేను చూసినట్టు కనిపిస్తుంది. దీన్ని ఈ ఆహ్లాదకరమైన వాతావరణం, ఇక్కడ ప్రశాంతమైన వాతావరణం ఉంది. ఈ వాతావరణంలో మనకి గురించి సాధించి సతీష్ గారు వివరించారు. చాలా అనుభవమైనటువంటి వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళు ఉపయోగించుకొని మీరందరూ కూడా సివిల్స్లో మంచి ర్యాంకులు సాధించాలని కోరుతున్నాం.
Morning to all of you. Good morning. Raise your voice. It's a real pleasure. Today we are going to start our classes. So what we do is to understand civil services. So from awareness point of view, and at the same time the content of what should go into the civil service, we are going to have a talk, maybe 1.5 hours. After that, Sri Srinivas Garu is going to give you the overall picture of different general study papers, and we can have questions and answers, and some of the faculty members, they are going to talk about the options of the course, etc. So what I'm going to take is, I'm going to take a overall picture of why should we care for civil services. So my main focus is to bring 3 important items. One is, why should we care for the civil services? So though some of you are aware of why should we care for the civil services, but my approach is different. The second is, what should you know about civil services examinations? So unless you are aware of what goes into the civil services and what is required from you, then you may not be preparing in the right direction. The third aspect is, how can you get into the private course? Ultimately, your aim is to get into the service, and how we can go. It's not mere wish, but the wish is to be supported by your effort and your knowledge. So the 3 aspects I am going to take. While discussing, I am going to talk about the most crucial aspects, like the option subject, importance of option subject, and the essay writing, ethics paper. The 3 aspects which I am going to deal. As per the option subject is concerned, I am going to deal with the literature. That is an option subject, but essay and ethics are the compulsory papers. So those items also I'm going to touch very briefly. So let me take this opportunity to ask this question. Why should you care for the civil services? Should you think about civil services? If you don't think about civil services, you might not have come here. So your intention is to join the civil services. Am I right? Yes. Then why are you planning to enter into the civil services? What makes you to think about civil services? What brings you to this organization to join for the civil services? Any questions? Or I want your interaction, your impressions and your answers for these questions. Is it merely that civil service is a very rosy service, it gives you a lot of power, it gives you so much, what we can say, identity, like that, or anything else in the choice of the civil service? Anybody? Why? What exactly makes you to come to the civil service? So something should be there, otherwise you might not have come here. So what makes you to come over here? Okay, you may be feeling shy, but I will tell you why I came to the civil service. Because I worked as a civil servant both at the central government and the state government. At the central government, I worked as IOFS officer, one of the group A services, I was there for 2.5 years. So I got it in my first attempt. In my second attempt, I got the IPS rank twice. Due to the technical reasons, I stayed in the previous services. But after that, I switched over to the state government services, which we call them as the T10 services. I worked here for almost 29.5 years in the state government, 2.5 years in the central government, altogether more than 32 years. I worked in both the state and the central government services. Now, why did I opt for that? So, if you don't come out, then I will tell you why I came to the civil services. Friends, I would like to bring this gentleman. Some of you are aware who this man was, but I would like to know from others whether you are aware of the name of this person. Okay, so let us start with you. Are you aware of the name of this person? No. What about you? What about you? Mama? So you are aware. What about you? So you are aware? Right. You are not aware. So, why should I bring the photo of this person to you? I was born in a village. My parents were illiterates. They are very good, but not formally educated. As a result, what happens is, we also, the children of the illiterate parents also, may not get the opportunity for go for a good education. So, in my village, there was this very small school where the first class, second class, third class, up to fifth class are the same class, only one class. And that is the situation where we are not getting anything, we are not going anywhere. At the time, when I was studying my second class, I approached my parents. I told my father, Father, I want to go to Kakinada, so nearby small town, for education. I don't want to stay here. So my father told me, we can't come to Kakinada, so you have to stay alone with your grandparents. I said, fine, I want to go for education. So that made me, at the age of my 6th year, I came to Kakinada. But I didn't get any type of network. I was struggling very hard, I don't know. But by trial and error, by staying in hostels, staying in religious places, I'm learning something. But that is not adequate. But after completion of my intermediate, before I go for the degree, I joined the library. Until then, I was not aware that libraries are existing. So I went to the library. I was reading small books and maybe some Telugu books like that. Then a day came when I went to a old bookshop. You might have seen the old bookshop. They will be put on the floor. You can select the book. That will be maybe 25 paisa, 50 paisa. That is the cost of the book. So I went to a old bookshop and stumbled over a book by Dale Carnegie, same person. The title of the book is How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. The title is How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's the book. So when I read that book, I was fascinated by the content of the book. More importantly, the way he presented the entire information. His English is impeccable. If at all you want to learn English, if at all you are interested to learn good English, how to present your ideas, then you must read the books of Dale Carnegie. He has brought the content from the life of the people, and he has presented in excellent English. How much time did he take to write the book called How to Win Friends and Influence People? It took 15 years to write the book. And he did a lot of research from the human laboratory. It's not just like sitting in a room and writing the book. No. People boast that I wrote this book within a week's time. But Dale Carnegie, he wrote the book for 15 years and he did a lot of research. That book is very fascinating and I was searching for other books written by this great author. And I got Telugu books, but I was not satisfied. Though I know the content, but I was not satisfied by the way of the book is translated. I was searching for an English book. I got it. I was fascinated by a chapter in the second book. The name of the book is How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. So these are the second book. So How to Stop Worrying and Start Living is the book meant for me, I thought. Because the first book talks about how I can interact with others. But the second book talks about how I can understand myself, how I can grow myself. And chapter 29 in the book is so important, and I will tell you that changes the thinking pattern of each and every person. So I will come back to that book. The third book, which is also a very, very important book, is Public Speaking and Influencing People in Business. The three books are available for 250 rupees because many organizations today came forward publishing authors. They are bringing very cheap editions because they want to see that the message of Dale Carnegie is spread. If you go to the bookshops, you will find a package of all the three books. Sometimes you get 5 books. When you go for the book exhibition, you find everywhere the books of Dale Carnegie. But I was surprised to see that you have not touched Dale Carnegie. So the point which I would like to stress is, if you want to get a friend philosopher diet, get him. He will become your friend, your philosopher and your guide for the life. Because I was guided by Dale Carnegie's writings. I was born much later to his death, but still I treat him as my every day morning. When I get up from my bed, I pay my tributes to my gurus, and one of the gurus is Dale Carnegie. So what made me to become such a devotee to this great personality is that chapter 29 in the book called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. What he says is, every young man and woman is standing in a crossroads. In their life, they are standing in the crossroads and they have to decide about their life, what to do. And you have to take 2 major decisions in your life. What is the one major decision when you are growing, when you are getting age of 17, 18? Your concern is to complete your education, and at the same time you want to get the livelihood. So the first question is, how are you going to make a living? What we mean by this kind of question? Everyone has to earn their livelihood. And how to get the livelihood? The answer is given 2,500 years ago by Gautama Buddha in his Ashtanga Marga. What he said was, Samyak Jivanam. Every human being should lead a right life. That means if you want to live as a good citizen, then you must have a right livelihood. Maybe in the profession, maybe in the service, but it should be right. For example, people may rob like Chorskis or Mineros. They can rob the money and they can run away from the country, but then they can have a beautiful life. The other day you might have seen that one fellow got a coat costing around 12 lakhs. The small coats were costing around 12 lakhs. Because that is not the hard-earned money. That the money robbed from somebody else and they are leading a luxurious life. But that is not the right life, right livelihood. The right livelihood is to earn the livelihood by the right way. What did Gautama Buddha said? It is by serving others you can get the happiness. If you want to get the right livelihood, it is to see that you serve others. by getting the happiness, those people are going to give you, that is the right level good. So, the right level good is earned by doing the right way, maybe business, or maybe the service. So, how are you going to make a living means you must come to the right service. So, what is the right service? This is very important, we must understand all. Because we have divided the people into three categories. You might have seen physically, some people are poor, some people are middle class, and some people are very rich. We categorize these people based on what the wealth, what they possess. But I divide people into poor, middle class, and rich based on their attitudes. There may be people who are filthy rich, but they are very poor as far as their attitudes are concerned. That's why I divide people into three categories. So poor people. So basically these poor people, their concern is survival. How to survive this week or the next month. Middle class people, they have thought about comforts. They want all stuff. What type of stuff they want? They want a good bungalow. They want a good car. They want big bungalow, maybe the big back parents. They want to have a beautiful wife. So they think about the things they want. But there are rich people. The people who are rich in their attitude, they think about what? Freedom. They want to live their life on their own. They don't want to work under somebody. They don't want to be directed by somebody. They want to work on their own, live on their own. That is called the freedom. Most of the times what happens is we take orders from the hires and we do the work. So this is a very, very low level of life. But you may ask, sir, civil service is also like that. But in civil services, you got the freedom when you join at a very high level. I will come back to that again. So for poor people, they think about people only. For example, if you take the smartphone and if you can go for anything, they talk about the people, cinema actors, politicians, and some other people. And what these people are talking and very interested, these people will be interested for what? Gossip. Cinema actors, actresses, gossip. They will be more interested for that. So people always talk about other people's past, black side, not the positive aspects. Middle class mind people, they want comfort, so the comfort they can get by the things only. That's why they talk about the cell phones, the series of cell phones, they talk about the type of the cars, maybe that type of stuff they think about. But the rich minded people, they talk about ideas. What is the new idea? Ideas definitely brings a lot of happiness, and these people feel very happy to get more and more ideas. Further, these people interact with people, study people, get more ideas, and they are going to implement these ideas. An idea acted upon is a fortune. Ideas will change your life, that's fine. But idea acted upon is a fortune. They know how to get the ideas, and they don't keep quiet. They implement the ideas and they get the wealth. You take a small idea by Bill Gates, made him the billionaire, the richest man on the earth, because an idea, it changed him. He acted upon that idea, it gave him fortune. Then poor people, what they do? They say what happened. They talk about past. They think about past and they talk about the past. They are history readers. They always read the history. They see the paper today because today's news is yesterday's news, and they talk about this only. But the middle class people, they watch things happen. That means that before their eyes something happens, they watch, they don't act upon. The third is they make things happen. The third category people always make things happen. They are the history makers. So always remember whether we belong to the history readers or history makers. Then poor people, they think about the short-term gains. Middle class people talk about the mid-term gains, but the rich people talk about the long-term gains. That means after 10 years, what should be my life? after 20 years, after 30 years. But what happens is more poor people they think about short term, make hay while the sun shines. Today I got the opportunity to loot, so I want to loot, I want to enjoy. Tomorrow I don't care. That type of mindset is there in the poor-minded person. Middle class people also think about, okay, for 1 year, 2 years I will not be caught even if I loot the country. So they want that type of. But the long-term people, they thought about after I leave this world, how people are going to remember me. That is their concern. Because the 6 feet land where this man is buried should not be the destiny of any person. The man should be remembered forever by the posterity. 2,550 years ago, Gautam Buddha was born, but today we are talking about this man in this class. Abraham Lincoln was born in America, we are talking here. Dale Carnegie was born in America, but we are talking here because these people are living forever. Because these people created history and these people thought about the long-term benefits of the life. So friends, remember, the purpose of the life is not for the short term or the mid term. The purpose of the life is to have the long-term gains. If you think about long-term, then you must have 3 important aspects. You must be patient enough because great things will not come quickly like that. By wand of magic wand, you don't get anything here. You have to earn it by yourself. That needs patience. For example, if you want to get into the civil services, it is not a 1 month affair, it is not 1 year's affair. In fact, the process of civil services takes 1.5 years. That's why whoever wants to enter the civil services must have a broader perspective of at least 2.5 to 3.5 years. Total devotion for the service. Why should we get into the service? I will get back to that. But that much foundation is required to see that you are suiting yourself to the particular type of service. That's why the patience is very, very important. The second aspect is delay in gratification. What do we mean by this? People, when you are very, very young, there is a tendency that these people are being distracted by the attractions available in and around. Today, the cell phone is enough, that is enough to distract you. Because most of the times what happens is we want to see the cell phone or the TV or something else for 5 minutes. But 5 hours you may submit yourself to that because you are distracted. You are emotionally surcharged. So that's why many of the people cannot delay their gratifications. See, the people who join the services, they want to have a car immediately. They want to have a bungalow immediately. They want everything in the house immediately. How can they get that? The salary what they gain is very little. They cannot get all these things to small salaries. But they want everything arranged because they want the power and prestige. I will tell you friends, when I was working as an assistant commissioner at Vishakhapatnam, after putting almost 12 years service, I was invited by one of the professors of the university. I went there by auto because on Sunday I went there by auto. But what this man was expecting is I can come in a very big car. So I don't want to show off myself. I want to be what I am. I don't want to show that I can borrow somebody else's car and go to the professor's home. So I went by auto. He was much disappointed and he expressed disappointment. What he said was, "Sir, you came by auto?" I said, "What car?" He expected me to come in a very big car like maybe Mercedes-Benz. So people think about that when you are a public servant, they think you're very big, but don't think you're big. So I purchased my apartment after putting more than 25 years in the service. So don't hanker for these things immediately. Delay your gratification and get this legally and ethically. That is very, very important. So for that you must delay your gratification. More importantly, I always freedom. Freedom is more important than comfort. So value freedom over comfort. Freedom means live the life as you like it. I will tell you a couple of examples. When I was studying my BCom, I thought BCom is not the cup of the tea. I was so much fascinated by the Telugu literature. When everybody is opposing, not my parents, because my parents told me, take the decision you want. But some of my teachers, some of my friends, they told, oh, Telugu literature, what man? You can get into M.Com or MBA, and you got shorthand pass, you got the typecast, you can get easily a job. Why are you coming for this subject? Nobody is going to offer any job here. I said, I'm not interested what you are interested. I'm interested in what I'm interested. So I joined the literature against the will and wish of many people. But I got into the university first. Then I got into the civil services. I made a lot of people into the civil service. I wrote books. I'm sharing my knowledge with the language. I feel proud to go for my passion. Point here is freedom is more important. I don't want to go by your will and wish. I want to go by my will and wish. I don't care if my parents, if they say that you do against my will. I go as I want to go. So when I was in the group A services, the bigger services, I was not interested in continue because that is not giving me the freedom, the kind of freedom I want. So then I switched to a smaller job like the commercial tax officer in the group. Say group A, that's a bigger job, to group 1 in the state government, smaller job. But I love this job, so I came and tried. The point here is freedom is more important than the comfort. Defense that will provide all sorts of facilities. You can get everything but at cheaper rate. You can be provided quarters wherever you go, type A quarters, to begin. But I left all the comforts for the sake of what? My freedom. I want to enjoy my freedom. That is very, very important. So the point here is long-term thinking is very important, and we must think about laying the foundation for your total life, not for the simple life of maybe a year or 2 years, not like that. So the point here is higher education and higher employment is the only way for regeneration of scheduled castes. This is a great quote given by Dr. Ambedkar. So the point here is higher education and higher employment. Both are very, very important. Higher employment comes by higher education. And when you go for higher employment, you can get a higher education. For example, you might have heard of this Praveen Kumar. So Praveen Kumar, he got his MBA from Harvard University. How did he get into Harvard? Because he got ideas. And those people who get into IRS, you may not get into the admission into Nalsar here, but the moment you get into IRS, you get the eligibility to come and join Nalsar University. You get the law degree. So you can go to Singapore. Most of the trainees, they will be taken to Singapore. There you can get some type of training. So the point here is you are going to get education and employment. Employment gives you education, education gives you employment. So any person, whether you belong to the scheduled caste or not scheduled caste, if you want to get into higher life, then this is more important. The point here is you already got a higher education, you already completed your degrees, but you must get into the higher employment. So this higher employment is what? Higher employment is the civil services, maybe the central services or the state services. Which is the whichever service you want to join, this is the highest service in the state. Because if you join as a deputy collector, you are going to retire as the principal secretary of the government. If you join as an IAS officer, you start as an assistant collector, you are going to retire as the chief secretary of the state or maybe cabinet secretary of the center. And you sit beside the chief minister or the prime minister. That is the way how you are going to gain the higher status in the society by joining the higher services. So I would like to show you some of the people. You might have seen the second Shiv Shankar now in the foreign secretary. He was the IFS officer, he joined from Tamil Nadu, and you might have seen the lady, she also worked as the ambassador to the United States of America. You might have seen other lady from Orange, So myself and my friend Mr. Sanjay is now IG, and you can find another friend is there in the OPT in New Delhi as the Deputy Secretary. He retired as the Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Mr. Kumar. So these are my friends and great people in the civil services. Okay. So these are my students. These are my students. Sanjay is my student, and Hassan is now as the Deputy Director in the Police Academy at the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He is Mr. Hassan, my student. He is Ravichandran Gopalachandran is from IPS officer from Kerala, is our student, and Devanathan is also our student. So these people are at higher levels in the civil services. So very high positions are very engaged you get by joining the civil service. You can have direct interact with the Prime Minister at the beginning itself, or to the you know pretty well you can go to the President of India. So the question here is, an IAS officer, when you start as a under secretary at the secretariat or the district collector in the state, you can go as the cabinet secretary. So there will be a lot of elevations as far as the services are concerned. Now you can get the prestige of power right to you and your family, your position, your perks, proximity to power centers. There are many advantages by joining the civil services. So this is the one way of getting the advantages from for you by joining the civil services. Now you get the prestigious occupation, pay, requisites, promotion, job security, high social status, future career opportunities, then service even of retirement, visible power, symbols of power acts or confers, beauty to the people, and a high quality physical life they can lead in their life. So many advantages you are going to reap by joining the civil services. That is the right livelihood. The first question Dale Carnegie has given to us is, how are you going to make a living? The second question, this is more interesting. What is this question? The second question is more important than the first one. That is, who are you going to select to be the father or mother of your children? What do I mean by this question? Whom are you going to select to be the father or mother of your children? So he has not directly asked whom you are going to marry, but he has given it indirectly a question, because having a wife is different, but selecting a person to be the father or mother of your children is different. So this is very important item in the life. Most of the times we think about, when you are very young, we think about how to get a job. Because in India, marriage is automatic. Once you get a job or once you get a particular age, you are eligible for marriage, and parents want to see somehow you get married. That's it. But how you are making the efforts, what is the preparation you are making to get into the marriage? Normally for getting into the civil services, how much time you are going to invest? You are going to invest nearly some 2.5 years or 3 years of service. Your time, precious time to get into the civil service. For how many years you are going to stay? Maybe 30 or 35 years. For that you are investing almost 3 years of hard earned effort to get into the service. But marriage, it's not for 30 years or 35 years. It is for life. After life also, because whatever the goals which are left unfulfilled can be fulfilled by the other person and by the children. When Mahatma Jyotirao Phule died, he told Savitribai Phule, carry out my legacy. And she carried out the legacy, and as long as she was alive. The question here is, marriage is not for a particular period. Marriage is forever. For such a person to invite into your life, how much time you are investing? That's very important. Normally, you strive very hard for getting to the service. But most of the times what we do, our father, mother, or maybe mama, or friends, they select a girl or a boy and say, this boy is right for you. And they will be forced on you and you are going to marry. That's it. This is the way of how things move on in India. But I will tell you, this is the most important decision you have to take by yourself. Never give this decision to anybody else. This is a very, very important decision in your life. But when are you going to get this decision and how are you going to get the best person or life partner in your life? Anyway, you are all young, but you have thought about the life partner. What makes the great couple in the world? Who are the greatest couple in the world? So, if you want to get a beautiful life, you must think about the beautiful people who get together and who fulfill their dreams together. This is very, very important. So, before we select a friend, maybe your spouse or maybe a very close friend, you must always think about three important items. Number one, you must always think about intellectual compatibility. That means you must see that you must have the thinking process is the same. In the sense, intellectual compatibility doesn't mean that you are thinking about degree. So I got PhD, I got PhD. You got PhD, I got PhD. So we are eligible. Is it the right way of going for marriage? It's an idiotic way of going for the marriage. Degrees doesn't make the people great. So this is not. What is great? What is more important is the common sense is very, very important for the intellectual compatibility. But the second called emotional compatibility. What do we mean by this? Emotional compatibility means, can you see a mother in your wife? Can you see a father in your husband? This needs a lot of mental maturity. That is the criteria for emotional compatibility. The third is more important, called value compatibility. That means you live for values. If values are conflicting, if your primary values are conflicting, you cannot live forever in a matrimonial relationship. That's why we must see the compatibility as far as our value systems are concerned. So such great couples are available all over the world. I would like to tell you a couple which is the most respectable, revered couple in India. That is Jyotiba Phule and Savitribai Phule. You see the history, life history. They are the social revolutionaries and they made a great contribution for the society. From matrimonial relations point of view, if you can see the life of these two persons, then you can make your life so sublime. How she has lived for the ideals of her husband and how her husband has tried to see that she is elevated intellectually. This is a wonderful journey. You will appreciate if you can read the biographies of both the people. So that is the reason I quote the people as the greatest couple in the world. And if you can understand, the result for you is you can make your life like that. And you can see that you will be remembered as a great couple when you leave this world. That is what is important for going for inviting a person to your life. Now, what is the relation between this and the civil service? Because civil service enables you to go for such a person into your life. Because it offers four important items. Number one is you can get your spouse, your partner from your batchmates. That is one important aspect. Because after you get to the civil services, at Missouri for the past 3 months training period, most of the people they go for max fixing. So that happens. That's one like way. The second is wide choice even from the highest of your community. For example, the richest people in your community, they never look at your face. But if you get to the civil services, those people come to your home and they request. I got many students. They come to me They come to me, ask, sir, when I was studying, nobody looked at me. But when I got a XYZ service, now people are coming with a huge amounts of money and they are requesting, they are making a lot of recommendations. Many people are coming and requesting us to take the girl from this family or that family. The point here is, yes, such is the way of the life. So you can get the best from your community if you want to go by your community. The third is try select from other communities. So other community people also don't mind to give their daughter or son if you are a very eligible civil servant. The fourth is tries to select from other states. You might have seen people also can get the opportunity to marry from other states. So if you happen to stay maybe in Bengal, then you can get a Bengali girl as your wife or maybe husband as your spouse. So that is the advantage of the civil service. This is the second aspect. So Dale Carnegie has given two important questions. One is how are you going to make a living? The second is whom are you going to select the father or mother of your children? Why am I sharing this? Because I was so fascinated and I was so attracted by the two questions. I read that chapter many times. I not only read the chapters, I imbibed the essence of the chapter, then I acted as he has given me. So I got into the highest service. I also got a person of my choice. Because that is the way how you can mold yourself when you get into the services. But a good student should not stop when what Guru gives. You must go beyond that, you must add something else. So I added something else to what Dale Carnegie has given. The third major decisions are to life. The first decision, the second decision, both are I shared from Dale Carnegie. The third decision I have added, what is that? The third decision is how are you going to make a life for yourself? How are you going to make a life for yourself? Because you live here for a shorter period, at the most maybe 80 years or 85 years, maybe 100 years, not more than that. After that, what? So that's the reason how are you going to make a life for yourself is more important, and this comes by joining the civil service because you are going to be trained at the best institutes in the country. You find the first one called Mussoorie, where you are going to get youthful training. This is the National Police Academy, the second one, that is called the IPS at Hyderabad, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, police training center, where I gave classes to the IPS officers, and you can find the beautiful ways. Then these are different training institutes all over India. What I'm saying is, the best in the country and the world, they come to these institutes and they interact with you. You are going to imbibe great ideas from these great minds. Even if you want to pay crores of rupees, you don't get the advantage of these people. But such people come to the academies and they share their rich experiences. There is one great personal development trainer, Mr. Shivkera, you can attend his seminars. So when he came to Hyderabad, I attended 3 days seminar, Blueprint for Success. That is a program he conducts. That is a wonderful experience for 3 days. And for that, how much money you have to pay? You have to pay minimum. Now in the Indian currency, you have to pay nearly 50,000 rupees. For such a program, you get free of cost when you go for Mussoorie. Not only one man, all over the world, great Nobel laureate people, they come to the Mussoorie training and they will teach you. They will give you so many ideas. You will get the advantage. You can go to other countries and other universities to have this type of understanding. If you are a well-known civil servant, you will be invited and they ask you to give the presentation on whatever work you are doing. This is the way how you are going to enrich your knowledge by joining the civil services. So these are different institutes where you are going to gain a lot of. So Indian Railways Institute of Transport Management. So there you will get a lot of advantages. So the point here is the rare gift you can give to yourself by joining the civil services. The title which is coming to your name will stay with you forever. An IAS officer, if he is retired, called IAS, IPS, justice. So that is the beauty of the services. So that is the gift you are adding, IAS or IPS or maybe an assistant commissioner or assistant commissioner. That whatever title you get, that will stay with you forever. Today, I am called by Satyanarayana, additional commissioner retired. So that stays. You will be recognized by your profession and your talent. You emerge as a celebrity at a very young age. You might have seen young people at the age of 24, 25 years, their name comes every day in the newspaper because they become celebrities. They happen to be the civil servants. You emerge as a role model to emulate. You might have seen many people, when they got selected, they became role models. For example, you might have heard about Revu Muchala Raju. So Revu Muchala Raju, 2007 IAS officer, that boy is from a very poor community, and that boy got selected to IAS, and he became a big hero. Now today he is the collector of West Godavari. And Bora Venkatesham from the Telangana state, from a very poor family, and this boy, when he got selected to IAS, I took him to Rajahmundry, Guntur, and Hyderabad. We arranged so many seminars to inspire the people coming from the rural areas. Today he is the principal secretary in the sports and backward classes, etc. So the question here is, you emerge as the role model at a very young age. That the advantage of going to the civil services. You become the cream of the country. You build a wide network throughout the country and the world, and you get access to information. You give the outside the world. You go for further studies. You go for visits. I also visit many countries. You can build knowledge, and you can have the pleasure of reading a lot and learning a lot. So these are the advantages by going into the civil services. And what is the advantage? The advantage is you are going to make a life for yourself. So your foundation becomes the character building. When you go to the foundation course for Mussoorie or other places, that becomes the building block for your character. So in the process of preparing for the civil services, paper 2 of the preliminary examination contains a lot of personality development and character development aspects. And the essay writing for the civil services, one essay makes you to think a lot. For example, character of an institution. The character of an institution speaks about your leadership. So when you are going about writing such an essay, what you do is you think about what is character, how character makes an institution its leader. So what is with the leadership, or what is an institution, how one can become a leader, all these things will come by understanding how to write an essay. Especially UPSC essays are not ordinary essays. They are the beautiful essays which brings you the best out of you, and when while preparing for the essays you are going to unfold yourself. That is a very important aspect. And paper 4 means that is called ethics. That is totally brings the best out of you. And the personality test in the civil services, yes, that is not going to touch your knowledge, it is going to touch your character. So the major issues in the civil services are talking about your personality and your character. That's what is going to be remembered forever by posterity. The foundation course becomes the foundation to life. Whatever foundation you are going to get, the training part you gain in the civil services is going to lay the foundation for your character building. Okay, so most importantly, you can make a difference in the lives of others. Most of the times we ask a question, I also ask the same question, why do you want to come to the civil services? What makes you to come to the civil services? But most of the people say that we want to serve the society. So this is the common phrase. Fine, that's a very laudable idea. But the point here is there are many avenues which are available for you to serve the society. But what is special with the civil services? Civil services enables you to bring a change. It makes a difference in the lives of so many people. The best example is S.R. Sankaran himself. S.R. Sankaran, when he joined the civil services, this man destined to change the life of so many people. When he was working as a collector at a district at Medak and maybe in Nellore also, so this man helped many poor people to get into education. S.R. Sankaran used to go to the office by walk. Never used the office car, go to the office or come back from the office to his home. So, one day he was walking from the guest house and he came to the Lakanika pool, and there one old man was hesitating to cross the road. And S.R. Sankaran, because he always goes on the road, he helped the old man to cross over the road. While walking, he asked the old man, where are you from? He says, sir, I came from Medak. I come to Hyderabad every week to see my son. My son is working here. Meanwhile, when the conversation goes on, he says, there was a great man. His name is called S.R. Sankaran. He helped my son to go into education, and he also helped my son to get into the job. God bless that man. But where is that man? He just sat there and is listening to the conversation. Normally the tendency is, they can say that I am a S.R. But this man simply smiled. Yes, that is what is important. He brings smiles on the face of so many people in the world. That's the reason people never forgot the contribution made by S.R. Sankaran. What happened? When Purna mounted Mount Everest, when she ascended Mount Everest, she unfolded the photo of S.R. Sankaran. That is the great height of S.R. Sankaran. He is taller than Mount Everest. That has come because he made a difference in the lives of so many people, not only in one state, but in all over India. He was the Chief Secretary of Tripura State. He was at Delhi. He was in Hyderabad, worked for both United and AP. And he gave so much contribution. That's the reason we remember the great man and we put this organization in the name of S.R. Sankaran. We want to nourish the same ideals and the values of this great person, and we want to see that you also are going to make a difference in the lives of so many people. So, as a civil servant, you can make a difference in the lives of other people, so you can make your parents and near and dear happy, making your parents feel proud for your contribution, then you can make the state feel proud, you can make the country great, you can make a difference in the lives of other people. Happiness of others triggers happiness to you. Always remember, when you give a rose, your hand smells good, because the odor which is there with your hand, that also smells very good. So the point here is, as a civil servant, you can bring smile on the face of others. That smile in turn will bring smile on your face. This I have enjoyed as a bureaucrat for more than 32 years, and with that I can tell you, friends, if you join civil service, then you are going to bring such smiles and you can feel happy. When you look back, when you retire from the service, you can feel, yes, I did my job great. So you can appreciate yourself because your life is being fulfilled. This is what is important for joining the civil service. You see here there are many people, great people, who bring such smiles on the faces of others. Especially the second man, his name is called Sagayam. This man was a promoted IAS officer, but this man was recommended by the High Court and the Chief Election Commissioner for certain works. They didn't believe any other bureaucrat except this bureaucrat, because this man stood for values. This man stood for values, and he made a difference in the lives of so many other people. So that is the advantage of the civil service. Friends, remember, you may say that 11 lakh people are appearing for the civil services, 6 lakh people are writing for the preliminary examination, only the process of preparation, that's very important. That normally people enjoy the success when they reach the destination. When you get the success, you feel happiness. But in the civil services, the journey itself will give you the happiness. Not the destiny, but the journey itself gives you the happiness. Hence, even if you are not selected, the very preparation makes you a self-confident person to live your life on your own terms. This is what I would like to stress. If you live your life on your own terms, you are a man with freedom. A free man alone can live on his own terms. You are not going to be dictated by the terms of anybody else when you are self-confident. That self-confidence will come to you by preparing for the civil services. This is the first point I would like to share with you. So friends, what we have discussed is, why should we care for the civil services? The second question, I will make it very brief. What should you know about a competitive or civil services examination? If you want to join the civil services, you must know something about the process, how you are going to prepare for this. So, I would like to tell you here, if you want to get to the civil services, you must think about one question. He who can do this has the whole world with him. He who cannot walks a lonely life. This is a great quote given by Dale Carnegie, and this is what is being implemented by Lloyd George. Who was Lloyd George? Lloyd George was the Prime Minister of Britain. At the height of power, he was the Prime Minister of Britain, and he was the most respected and loved Prime Minister of Britain, because this man knew how to get others happy. He can easily convince others, and this man gave a beautiful formula, or what I can say, a mantra, how to make others like you immediately. So what he said was, to bait the hook to shoot the fish. Very briefly, he has given this answer. What do we mean by this? To bait the hook to shoot the fish. What do we mean by this? You want fish. What do? You go to a pond, you put an angle, then you put something which is liked by, not by you, by the fish. Because the fish will not come because you are asking. You go to the pond, ask the fish, come. Will it come? No. You put the angle, you put the maybe a insect further, and the fish come for the insect, then you can get the fish. So this is the way you must, that's the common sense which you have to follow. Now tell me, what does UPSC want? You want the service, but UPSC equally wants a man, a woman, a lady or a gent with something that is very important. if you want a service, then you must also see that you cater to the expectations of the institution, organization. UPSC wants that person who got the highest character. They don't want your knowledge. Knowledge is a minor thing, but your character is the major thing. That we must always understand. So the most of the people care for what they want, but not what others want. We care for what civil services give to us, but not what the civil services demand from us. Civil services demands leadership from us. This is very, very important. So you have to emerge as a leader. Understand? You must emerge as a leader. A mere person with a lot of knowledge is not required for civil services. You may be required for a private corporation, but as far as the civil services are concerned, they give importance not for the knowledge alone, they give importance for the character, more of character. This we must understand. Okay, what is leadership? That's very important. How is it measured in the civil services? So, civil services maintains 3 levels and they measure your competence and your character. Management and leadership, always remember. So, in the management classes, they will tell you what is the difference between management and leadership. Management is doing the things right, whereas leadership is doing the right things. That means competence plus integrity, both are very important for leadership. So, leadership depends on 2 principles. Number 1 is called the competence, number 2 is called the character. What is competence? Competence consisting of the knowledge, the skill and the attitude. 3 are very important to make yourself a competent person. This competence is a rare commodity with most of the people. But the people who are competent may not be having the second important aspect called the character. What's character? Character cannot be measured by looking at the person. It is like an iceberg in the water. You find a small tip outside, but a bigger mass of ice below the water. So what's important is called the integrity in the person. You need the maturity in the person, and you must have the abundance mentality of the person. I'm not going to define these things, but these 3 important concepts are very much required to make a person as a character-oriented person. A man with intelligence, a person with intelligence, that's called competence and a character, can make him as the greatest leader. So, this you can examine. I'm giving this proposition that the leadership is very much important for the civil services. You can examine this concept basing on the syllabus prescribed by the UPSC and the process followed by the UPSC. What is the process they follow? They follow the first process is called the preliminary examination. It's called elimination process. The second is the selection process where they want to test you in the descriptive way. And this consisting of both competence and character. And in the case of personality test, where they have the right one-to-one interaction, 5 members sit and select one person to suit to their organization. In the preliminary examination, total objective. They never care whether you are a man or woman or whoever it may be. But in the case of mains, these people want to test you very specifically on your character more than on your knowledge base. But as far as the personal interview is concerned, they go by your personality traits more than your knowledge based back. So, if you see the process, preliminary examination, competence building is given more importance. Okay? And in the case of character development, you find mains and interview. These 2 are mostly for the mains. In the case of prelims, this is the syllabus, part of the syllabus, and the selection depends on this first paper. Out of 200 marks of 2 hours, they give 100 bits and they test you. If you can get 50%, you will be qualified. Mostly this year we are expecting the cutoff mark may be around 95 to 98, because that is the way how the paper was given. In 2017, 116 was the cutoff mark. In 2019, it is 105.5. Now it may come down to 95 to 98. So that is what we are expecting. So if we can get 50% or 55%, then you are sure to get into the mains examination. So this paper is the compulsory paper, and the second paper is the qualifying in nature. If you get 33% of the marks, you get enough to get into the civil service. This is the syllabus. And you see the syllabus. In this paper number 2, you get the comprehension, interpersonal skills including communication skills, logical reasoning, analytical ability, decision making, problem solving, then general mental ability, basic numeracy, data interpretation, English language comprehension skills. Most of the items are related to your personality aspect. Okay. Going to the paper number 1 related to knowledge building, acquisition of knowledge. In paper 2, 2/3 relates to the skill development and how the knowledge is applied, and 1/3 relates to the character building. So this is the way the preliminary exam is being conducted with UPSC. More importance on competency compared to the character building. In the case of paper 2, we have seen comprehension, decision making, problem solving, communication skills, interpersonal relations, and all these things are relating to what? Your character and your personality. Coming to the scheme of the main examination, you are aware that you got two papers which are qualifying in nature. One is about the English language, the other is called the regional language. 300 marks, and if you get 100 marks out of 300, that's enough. Qualifying in nature, but these marks are not counted for your ranking. But there are very important 7 papers. First paper is essay, 200 marks, 250 marks. This essay is different from academic essay. I will come back to this essay part later. Paper number 2 is general studies paper number 1. It is Indian heritage and culture, history and geography of the world and the society. So this is the paper, 250 marks. Paper number 3 in general studies number 2 is governance, constitution, polity, social justice and international relations. These are the topics of the paper number 2, 250 marks. Paper number 3, technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security and disaster management. So this paper consisting of 250 marks. And paper number 4 called ethics, integrity and aptitude 250, and one option paper. So that means one option subject consisting of 2 papers, 500 marks total, 1750, and personality test, that's called interview, it is 275 marks. Total it comes to 2025, and if you can get 52%, you are sure to sail into IAS. Even if you get 51%, you get into IAS. If you get 50%, you will get into the civil service. That means 50% enables to come to the civil service. So the friends, remember, this test is not only testing your competence but your character more. So mains relates to competence and character, essay paper, issue based and opinion based, and the GS paper. Just I have given you these papers to test more on your competence levels. And paper number 4 is more about your character, and personality test is about your character. So what is important for the civil services? What you must understand in the civil services is how to build your character. A character-oriented person is required to be the civil servant at the high level, and the process being followed by the UPSC is to select such a person to come to the civil services. And the SR Sankaran is meant for bringing that and cultivating that character among the students. We give the subject, we are going to tell you what we are going to give here, but more focus will be given on your character building, on your personality building. That's what we focus here. But the third question, the third part, the last part which I would like to focus is, how can you get the private course? If you want to get into the private course, then you must understand what is to be done to suit yourself to get into the service. For success in any field, the ingredients required are three important ingredients. Stephen Covey, the man who wrote the book called The 7 Habits of the Highly Effective People, gave three important ingredients for success. They are the tool set, the skill set, and the mindset. What do you mean by this? What are tool set? For example, we are taking this presentation. I am presenting this topic to you with the help of tools only. This is the laptop, and that is the projector, LCD projector, screen, tables, cameras, the tables, the benches, all are what? All are tools. And tools, are they enough? No, we have to utilize them for practical purposes. That is the skill. You need the skill. So skill set is required. And what is more important? You come here with the expectation that I want to learn something. That is your attitude. That is called your mindset. Some people come and they switch off their mind. That's a different thing. But the point is, most of you come here to learn something, to know something. You got the attitude of learning. So, unless these three are there, nothing can be achieved. To get the success, you need tool set, you need skill set, you need the mindset. So, we are going to see how the three can be provided or maybe synchronized in this process. I'll talk about the tool set. You might have heard the tool kit. For example, if you have no tools, then you cannot do anything. For example, to cook food also, you need what? Tools are required. Gas stove is required, gas cylinder is required, you need the lighter. Everything is tool set only. Like that also, for the civil services, tools are required. Some tools are required. And what are those tools? The most important instrument is what? Knowledge. You come here for knowledge, and we are here to share knowledge. Which knowledge? Which enables you to get into the service. That knowledge we have to provide you. So, when we talk about the knowledge, what we are going to provide in SR Sankaran is the experienced faculty. So, basing on the requirements of the civil services, these people are experienced because these people go to the services, got into the services. Myself, I retired from the service, but I am coming and teaching because experience is very, very important for civil service. You cannot ask a university professor to come and teach you here for the civil service because the orientation is different. That's the reason you need the faculty, experienced faculty, that faculty is available here. You need the personal guidance because sometimes you may not understand what is taught here. So for that we got the mentors that are going to take care of the personal care. So we arrange the guest lectures by the experienced people in the respective fields. Then we impart study methods. Most of you may not be aware of how to study, how to remember, how to write, answer writing. These things may not be available to you, may not be aware of those things. We are going to teach these methodologies in this class. Well-furnished library is also is provided to you on the top floor. Then we got the digital library. Then personal attention by the mentors. We got the up-to-date material we are going to provide to you. Regular tests both for the prints and mates we are conducting here. Continuous evaluation of the performance of the students will be done. Answer writing skills will be shared. content development program is also being planned here. Personality development, we are going to take care of that. And support and guidance till success and beyond. Once you become a student of SR Singh in IS Academy, you are a student forever. In the sense, when you go out also, you can come any moment and you can share your experiences, you can learn from the people. You see, many people who are the services, they telephone to me and they get piece of advice. We help them, we guide them. So that is the way how you will get the knowledge in this particular organization. So we are going to organize the total schemes of things, or you may come for the module wise also. We are providing the knowledge here. So I'm going to provide here the essay writing aspect. And the essay writing, as I told you, the most crucial part of the civil services essay writing. Some of the people that get as low as 29 marks out of 250 and as high as 175, like Apurva Pandey, who got 175 marks in the essay writing. So it depends on the skill of essay writing. Not the content that is important, but the craft of writing essay is very, very important. What we are going to share here is the content as well as the craft of essay writing. So craft of essay writing, most of the people may not be aware of how to write a sentence, how to write a paragraph, and how to write a essay in a structured manner. So we are going to talk about and discuss, and we put a lot of what we can call the practice about essay writing, and you can easily get very good marks. So this is the case that I am giving. A boy who got only 29 marks, Mr. Sanjay Singh, he got 11.6% marks. Whereas Meera Singhal, she got 64%, 250 marks. My students, they got marks like this in 2017. So by nature, it is not the type of the essays that is important. You must understand the nature of the essays. The nature of the essays are two types of patterns: issue-based essays and opinion-based essays. Issue-based, objective in nature, whereas opinion-based, purely subject to your experiences, your understanding. That is more important for these essays. You can see the issue-based essays like this: crisis faced in India, moral or economic, cyberspace and internet blessing or curse to the human civilization in the long run, management of Indian border disputes is a complex task. These are the issue-based essays given by the UPSC. But if you can see the opinion-based essays, character of an institution reflected in its leader. That is an issue-based. This is called opinion-based. Need brings greed. If greed increases, it spoils breed. It's very interesting. If you know Abraham Maslow's need theory and Gautam Buddha's Ashtangik Marga, you can write excellent essay on this particular theme. We may break human laws, but cannot resist natural laws. What are these laws? Human laws are made by the human beings, but we cannot dictate the laws of the nature. So the natural laws are very important. So there is a clash between these two. And how to resolve the clash between these two? When you make your human laws aligning with the natural laws, life will be fantastic. This is the theme what we want to present in the UPSC writing. The number 4 is a people that values its privileges above its principles loses both. Excellent essay, excellent quotation by Eisenhower, and this is talking about even if you are a man with a lot of privileges, maybe great services or maybe wealth or whatever it may be, if you violate the principles, then you are going to lose both. Best example we have seen from before our eyes, the people who are involved in the scams, what they are doing, they are losing their wealth, they are losing their character. On the contrary, people who gives importance to the principles, like Mother Teresa or like Abdul Kalam, these people will shine like forever. This is what is being given in this essay. So essay writing will make you a better character-oriented person, and this is what we are going to do in the class. What we are going to see is that your craft of essay writing will be honed here, and you are going to examine the essays written by the great essays in the world. I'm going to introduce the essays, I'm going to give the copies of the essays, and we are going to see how greatly they wrote, how badly they wrote. So you will come to know the craft of essay writing in the class itself. We'll come to the other paper called ethics. Ethics is a very, very interesting paper, very important paper, where people are getting less marks. Why they get less marks? Because they don't understand how to write the ethics paper. Ethics paper is very, very crucial. You find people are getting 135, but people are also getting a 60 to 65. If you get less marks, the chance is that you are going to lose. So the point is, we must prepare ourselves, and the ethics paper totally depends on your character and your personality. You cannot prepare so especially this paper, but we are going to tell you how to develop your character, your personality, and how to write, how to tackle the case studies. Everything will be taught here, and what we are going to touch here, the concept of the ethics, the quotations, the ethics, the values, attitudes. Aptitude are the foundational values, inspiring personalities, important philosophers, qualities of a bureaucrat. We talk about corruption, how this is now eating into the vitals of India, institutional measures, sexual harassment. We talk about the sustainable development, and we talk about the inclusive growth, the ends and means. All these things are going to be taught here with practical examples. Then we are going to have the case studies, all practical studies. We are going to touch about the nature of the case study, talk about the type of the case study. We are going to talk about the ethical issues. We are going to touch about the rules to be kept in mind to write a case study, and finally the structured approach, a template for writing the case studies. All these things are going to be taught in this class. So we have seen the tool is called the knowledge, which we are going to take here. Other faculty members are going to talk about their subjects. Okay, the second is called the option subject. So option subject is very, very crucial. You can see the great, all the toppers. All the toppers are scoring more than 300 marks in the civil services. So we are going to teach you here these topics. So myself, I am taking the Telugu literature. It starts from today onwards. Then we are going to have public administration, history, mathematics, geography, sociology, anthropology, basing on the number of the students. So in Telugu, this boy, Mr. Jayashekhar from the 2018 batch, he got into almost IPS rank. He's likely to get, and now he's going for the department. So these are the marks from the Telugu literature. Who got almost 54, 56 like that. If you get a 52%, you get into IAS. So all the students, 5 members, they got almost 50%. Hereby. So you can find here the option subject, all the toppers like Anudeep Dursetti from Telangana, and Anup Kumari, Sachin Gupta, Burhan, Kaushik, 1, 2, 3 and 5 ranked people, all got more than 300 marks. So option subject is very, very crucial to get into the civil service, and hence you must be very careful in selecting that, and we are going to guide you to see that you are going to get the best option subject. This is the Telugu literature I am going to take here, and for Telugu literature you can have a strategy, and we are going to teach about the linguistics. We are going to talk about the history of literature and its evolution, and the old literature, modern literature, and the Vyakyanas, that's called the explanations. All these things will be given systematically, and there are 5 topics in the literature. And literature, always remember, it is not about the subject which is right. Literature is your life. How to understand your life, how to make your life more sublime, can be taught in the literature. Literature subject is not confined to only for mugging up some poems like that. No, we never encourage people mugging up the poems. What we do is we make you to understand your language. the language what you are speaking, you are going to analyze the language, you are going to see how the great ideas were reflecting in the literature. We are going to teach you the great persons how they have written the literatures, the modern literature, the ancient literature. All these things will be taught, and every class is a feast to develop your personality and character. That is the way how the class will go. So we have seen the knowledge, the optional subject. Then we are going to provide the standard material. You find a lot of material available in the market. In the yellow books you can find everywhere. But I don't want to comment, but the point here is we are going to provide you the standard material which is suitable for the civil services. We will also tell you, because we got this letter here, we will tell you the information tools which are very much important. You can go for Insights in India, there you can get a lot of items. You can get other tools related to the civil services material, and we are going to provide the facility to go through those things. Number 5 is how the language. So we are going to give emphasis, and we want to make you aware of how to use the language. Because a civil servant is not a man sitting in the closed room and citing the files. A civil servant has to communicate himself with the other people, and for that you need to have better understanding of the language. Which language you want? Yes, any language, whether it is English language, whether it is Telugu language, you must be a master of the language and how to get the mastery of the language. This is what we are going to pay attention to, because when you go for the interview, how are you going to communicate with other people? When you attend the interview, you would be judged by how you communicate yourself with the interview members. But if you go and talk about English, what is the impression you are going to create before the interview board? Why I use the word called English or English is that we people speak mostly a corrupted English. We are not sure about how to pronounce a word and how to give an accent to a word. If you can have a distinction as far as the accent and pronunciation, then the interview board will be impressed by your skills of language. So we are going to give importance for this particular skill, and we are going to see that the people coming from the village background, the poor families, those people are going to be taken care of. Their skills will be honed, and we would like to tell the people as to how the English language is to be handled, both orally and in written part also. Then we talk about the friend circle. We encourage here to have the group circles for group discussions and for group presentations also. Group circles are required for group discussions and Hindu paper group presentations. What we do is, Hindu paper is the Bible for the civil servants, and most of the bits of the prelims or the mains, they come from the Hindu paper. So we encourage you every day to read the paper, and every week you are going to have the presentations, and you are going to have a group leader for every group, and the other people also can supplement the discussions. Thereby you are going to prepare your notes, you are going to prepare the material. And we also encourage group activity for essay writing and ethics also in the classes itself. So the 7th item is called the institute. This institute is meant for not-for-profits, not a commercial institute. This is not the commercial activity what we are doing. This is a non-profit organization. If the fees outside is 1,50,000, you find the fees here is half the fees. That means here people don't go for earning money. Here we are going to charge only for the administrative expenses. The building and other main things are to be maintained. For that money will be collected. It will be almost 50% to the market which is outside. And this institute is meant for value-based. This named in the name of the great personality called S.R. Sankaran. His values are to be nurtured here. We want to see that The bureaucrats are reduced to the human face. That's why this institute is out here. Then mentors. So there are so many people who come and interact with you, and they will guide you for your better destinations. Now, the tools, what we are required for the civil services, number one is the knowledge, number two is the office subject you must have, clear understanding, standard material, information tools, language, friend circle, institute, and mentor. So these are the 8 items related to the tool set. We come to the second is called the skill set. So in order to get into the civil service, you must have good skills. UPSC has prescribed the 11 skills. The skill set the UPSC demands. Number one is you must have good mental alertness. So this is very important. You must have the ability to read between the lines. That's what you must learn here. Critical power of assimilation. Water everywhere, but not a coffee drink. So knowledge is everywhere, information is everywhere, but you don't know how to assimilate the information which is required for the civil service. Clear and logical exposition. The presentation, you have to have the type of analysis. Balance of judgment. We don't want to encourage you to go a one-way traffic. So we want to have a balance of judgment, wide and depth of interest. These are all required by the UPSC. When you go for the interview, they check for these qualities. Ability for social cohesion is also important because we are going to celebrate the birthdays and the death days and the great days of the great people, personalities in the world. So this institute was started on the day when Savitribai Phule was born. The 3rd of January, we started this institute in the great memory of the great teacher, Savitribai Phule. So we celebrate the birthdays of Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, Ambedkar, Mahatma Gandhi, Abdul Kalam, S.R. Senkaran, and Nehru. So these are great people of this country. We remember their names because the social cohesion, we want to bring that type of cohesion among all the participants. Leadership qualities, this is the life of this institute, and intellectual and moral integrity, comprehensiveness, original thinking, and innovativeness. These are the skills which are required for getting into the civil services. This we are going to encourage among the students. The skill of planning of the career, planning of the circumstances, planning of attempts, planning of the time, planning of the approach, and gaining planning the strategy. We are going to give the skills to the students because you have to schedule everything as per the time factor, and we must also have the approach strategy to get to the civil services. Now, last point which I would like to bring here is called the mindset. This mindset is basically yours. We can provide you the tools, we can teach you how to get the skills, but the mindset is to be nurtured by the students themselves. So what we expect from you is you must have the ever-learning attitude. Every day you must assess yourself. Every week you must assess yourself as to how much you are gaining from the institute. When a class is put here, you must be in time and learn from the faculty. Ask questions. We don't see that you must just sit like mute spectators, but you must ask questions and get the subject. That's the way how you must learn every day. That's what we call the Kaizen of the Japanese. So that principle we believe, and we expect that you are going to learn every day something. So ever learning attitude is what is important for the civil services. The second is going an extra mile. Don't stop yourself for what is learning here. You must go 10 times more than what is taught here outside. So going an extra mile is a very, very important item which we are going to stress to the students. Number 3, you must have the burning desire. What do we mean by this? Once you join the institute, till you get into the service, your aim is to get into the youth. How you are unfolding yourself to suit yourself to the civil service is the main concern of the burning desire. So you must always think about how you can utilize each and every minute for molding yourself to suit yourself to this service. Number 4 is called be mental to focus on your strengths. For example, you are very strong in Telugu literature or maybe Telugu language. You cannot write fluent English. Then we expect you to write in Telugu medium. I wrote in Telugu medium, got selected twice into the civil services. I know many people who write in the respective mediums. They are shining like very good civil servants. So go by your strengths, not by what is given imposed on you. So as I told you, you must live as you are, not as others like to be. So develop the confidence. This is very, very important. Ultimately, what makes you a good servant is not the knowledge, the amount of knowledge, but the amount of confidence you exhibit to get into the service. The most important element you have to nurture is the discipline. Why discipline? I will tell you why discipline is required. Here, you find that in 2014, a boy got 900 marks. His rank is 526. A boy who got 899, his rank is 545. You find the difference. You can see the difference. You find almost 34 ranks on 1 mark change. If you get 1 mark less, your rank will be down by 34 ranks. If you get 10 marks less, the ranks will be 165 ranks. In a matter of almost 750, if you get 20 marks less, there will be a lot of options curving. It is 2015, you find the same thing, 31 ranks. 16 also, you find the difference. In 17 also, you find the difference. In 18 also, you find the difference. The point which I would like to make you is, you have to fight for each and every mark. 1 mark makes a big difference. 5 marks means gone are the days. So you find you will be somewhere. You want to go for maybe IAS. If you get less, then you are almost landing like this. Again, you have to prepare 1 more year. When I was in the civil service, when I was preparing for that, in 1985, it so happened on 1088, 30 ranks are there. That the cutoff mark for IAS. And some people got IAS, some people got IPS, and some people got just non-duty services. So the point which I would like to emphasize is this. 1 mark makes a big difference. You have to fight for each level mark. For that you need a strict discipline to prepare on your own. The 7th one is the perseverance. UPSC gives you 6 chances to get into the service. For the general category, 6 chances. But of course, OBCs they get 9 and the others 15 to 17 chances. They get. The point here is, if you lose in 1 attempt, don't dishearten yourself. Persistence is very much important. That's the reason I told you, have a plan for 2.5 to 3 years, not 3.5 years. Second, third chance definitely will make you a better equipped person to top the services. That the perseverance is very, very important. You need not spend 24 hours on this thing, but if you can invest 10 hours correctly, that 10 hours per day is enough to get into the civil service. So 14 hours you can utilize for your work purposes, but if you put 10 hours a day, that is enough to make you the top. Final point which I would like to tell you is, be unkind to be kind. Once you take a decision to come to the civil services, you must be unkind to be kind. What do we mean by this? What do we mean by unkind to be kind? I will tell a small story. If you go to a forest, you see the tallest animal. Of course, we can go to the zoo and we can see. Fox we cannot go. So, exactly what happens in the forest is, when you see the tallest animal, what is the tallest animal? Giraffe. The giraffe is almost 20 feet tall animal. When it is giving birth to a child, it gives birth to the child by standing only. It doesn't sit and give the birth to the child. From the waist of the animal, it is almost 10 feet height. If a child falls from 1 feet tall, maybe high part, then mother feels very bad. For example, you are the mother, you got a small baby, and the baby falls from a small cot on the ground. What do? What do? You run away, you go to the child, take the child, put the child at the bosom because the child cries. You give a lot of comfort to the child by patting on the back. Isn't it? Is it or not? But here, when the child is falling from the 10 feet, the child is not yet born, it's not yet opened eyes, but the child is falling from the 10 feet tall, from base to the ground. Now, what is the mind of the mother? You find here the mother goes back to the child and gives a big kick on the back of the child. Why is giving a big kick? Is it the hate of the mother or love of the mother? It's very, very important we have to observe here. The mother goes and gives a big kick on the back of the child, and the child doesn't know why mother is kicking. Again the mother gives one more kick on the back of the child. It goes on kicking the child till the child stands on its own feet. Once the child stands on its own feet, the mother goes and embraces the child and takes the safe place and fondles the child, gives a lot of comfort to the child. Why it is doing? You go to the doctor. Doctor says, I have to give an injection. Injection means you have to, that man pierce the body with the needle. Do you like it? You don't like it. But why doctors giving such a type of injection to you? Is he your enemy? No, he is our friend. He knows pretty well by giving the injection, your disease can be cured. This is called unkind to be kind. Mother is unkind to be kind. In a jungle, if the small child is on the ground, small predators they come and eat the child. In order to see the child survives the jungle, the mother kicks the child till it stands and fondles the child when the child stands at a separate place. So friends, remember, when you are preparing for the civil services, what you have to do is don't be distracted by the attractions. Because you may think that, okay, I'm preparing for 2020, so 2020. So 2020, so I got so much time, I can watch the World Cup matches. World Cup match means how much time you are going to spend. 3 o'clock it starts, goes up to almost 11 o'clock. If you are so fascinated by all the matches, how much time you are going to lose? Are you want to become a cricketer? No, you want to become a civil servant. Then why are you watching so much time for these matches? IPLs we are watching for months together. And World Cups we are months together. And there are many things which are taking that way. So friends, what is more important is we have to control ourselves. This is very, very important. I would like to tell one example. Mr. Bharat Bhushan is my friend. He retired as commercial manager. This means IRTS, that is the highest post, next to the general manager. So when this man is preparing for the civil services, one day his friend told him, because this man wanted to see the movie on the first day. First show on the first day he wanted to see. So he got that habit. So while exams are almost a week away, and this man is getting himself to go to the movie, then his friend asked him, Bharat, I want to give a piece of advice to you. You want to see the movies? Okay, you are most welcome, you can see the movie. But what happens is, throughout the life, you have to see movies like this only. How are you going to the first movie or the first show? You go and stand in the queue, you tear your shirt, and you get a lot of sweat, and by the time you go, everything will be totally spoiled. This is the way how you are seeing the movie, first movie. But if you get into the civil service, what is the advantage? The cinema theater owner comes to you and gives the ticket to you. And you may not get the time even to see the movies, because that is the way how your life will be transformed. And Bharat Bhushan shared after getting to the service, yes, what my friend is right. So that day he didn't go to the movie, studied hard, get into IRTS, and he retired at a very high position. What he did was, he made so many people come into the civil services. The point which I would like to share is, if you care for only one day or comfort, then you are not going to make it to the civil services. You must be unkind to be kind to get into the service. This, if you can follow, friends, you are going to get to the civil services. So what we discussed is, the attitude for the students is ever-learning attitude. They must go an attitude of going an extra mile, a burning desire, focus on your strengths, confidence, and discipline, perseverance, and be unkind to be kind. If you have this type of philosophy, friends, then civil service is nothing for you. You can exceed what the civil service requires from you. So what we discussed is, what do the civil services expect from the candidates? Then what do the candidates expect from the institute, and what do the institute expect from the candidates? So these are the things which I have taken while discussing three important parts. What are the three we have discussed? Why should we care for the civil services? What is the second one? What does the civil service contain? So what is the type of exam? So it expects what the civil service expects from you. It expects the leadership from you. What is the third one? What is the third one we have discussed? So I want to know whether you have observed what we have discussed. What is the third one we have discussed? What are the skills? What are the tools? What are the skills? What are the mindset you have to develop? How to develop to get into such a present course? So what is that you require to get into such a present course? You must have the tool set, skill set, and the mindset. So friends, remember, our problem normally is not ignorance. Today we got the cell phone, whatever you want, you can get it from the cell phone, or you can ask Alexa, you get that fellow will give you all that. So my son, that fellow, he doesn't read the book. He asks the cell phone and he gives the answer. So today we got so many servants at our command. So we got the knowledge. Our problem is not ignorance. But what is our problem? Inaction. We know things, but we don't implement them into action. We don't put them into action. So this is the quote by Dale Carnegie. We started with the Dale Carnegie. We end this presentation by a quote of Dale Carnegie. Friends, I would like to end with only one important quote, that is, forget the world for 3 years. As I told you, civil service requires that much span of time. If you are a studious person and follow religiously the things which we have discussed, you may get into it 1.5 years, but the point is 3 years. Make it 3 years. Forget the world for 3 years, the world will remember you for 30 and more years. If you want to remember the world now, the world will forget you in 3 seconds. What is more important? You want to be remembered by the world, or you want to live like an ordinary person in the world? You want to be one among the crowd, you want to be one above the crowd. This is to be decided, and if you want to be the history maker, come to the highest services, as Dr. Ambedkar said, and civil services offers you to come to such a great position. This is what I would like to share with you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, okay, very briefly I'm going to share with you the general studies and the subjects. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask any of the faculty members that will answer you. So very briefly, they are coming here and they are going to share their knowledge. So Mr. Ashwin.
వారికి